Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the WWE Universe for this month. That's right, WWE Universe is back in full swing as we're about to go down looking at some of the great epic action that took place at this year's Payback, which is absolutely insane. Trust me, Payback was probably a great episode. I really enjoy the story. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it's probably amazing, fantastic pay per view for WWE. So, of course, this is the first of the two pay per views of the month, and of course, we're going to kick things off with the kickoff shows. Now, surprisingly, they came out with a big surprise match, which was R-Truth and Stardust. This wasn't originally announced to take place in the kickoff show, but basically it was announced during the evening that this was going to take place. So, of course, R-Truth beats Stardust. Nothing really special there. You know, just the ordinary the ordinary matches we would normally get on SmackDown taking place at Payback. And then we've got this new gimmick with Damian Sandow calling himself Macho Man now, which is a bit basically to pay respects to the Macho Man Randy Savage, who was in the Hall of Fame. And then we had Curtis Axel coming out as Axelmania, trying to do his impressions of Hulk Hogan. The immortal Hulk Hogan. We all know Hulk Hogan. He's one of the biggest stars in WWE. He's had a legendary career. And, of course, he was the guy who inducted Randy Savage in this year's Hall of Fame. And, of course, they were paying homage to their tag team known as the Mega Powers, because if you remember back in the old days, Randy Savage, when he was the WWE champion, formed with Hulk Hogan, and they were called Mega Powers for a little bit before that whole Mega Powers Explode thing took place at WrestleMania 5. Now, of course, they were taking on the Ascension, this new Mega Powers that was taking place, and obviously they were unsuccessful to beat in the Ascension, but I have a good feeling at some point down the line they will get a shot at the tag team titles. So don't be too surprised if the Mega Powers do rise to become tag champions at some point, because I think they can do it. You know, I have full potential on this tag team. That could be great, and hopefully WWE will work on them and see what they can do. And who knows? They might be successful. You never know. And then, of course, we have the opening match of the pay-per-view, which we go to Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler, a rematch from Extreme Rules, which, of course, Sheamus finally gets his win over Dolph Ziggler. Now, of course, Dolph Ziggler obviously was unlucky this time, but what can I say? Sheamus bringing his brutal side, as well as Dolph Ziggler getting payback from that Kiss My Arse match, which they did last month, which Sheamus embarrassed Ziggler. This time it's Ziggler embarrassing Sheamus before Sheamus gets the win. And then, of course, we have the Tag Team Championship match, 2 out of 3 falls. And, of course, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd once again hunting for the tag team titles against the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Big E, along with Xavier Woods, who is their manager or their partner in crime, you could say. And, of course, for Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, they were unsuccessful again to beat the New Day, which I was a bit surprised. So, again, they didn't successfully defeat Kofi Kingston and Big E. So that means Big E and Kofi are still champions as the New Day continues to rise. And I will be talking about the Tag Team Championships in just a bit, because something did get announced last night regarding the Tag Team titles for the Elimination Chamber, which you might be interested in. Now we move on to Bray Wyatt. Of course, Bray Wyatt is back on pay-per-view. The last time we saw him was at WrestleMania when he took on The Undertaker and he got himself injured by the leg. Of course, now he's back fully in shape to take on Ryback. And surprise, surprise, Bray Wyatt finally wins. After a long period of losing, he beats Ryback and he proves everybody wrong after all. So it looks like Bray Wyatt is back on his winning streak again, which is nice to see, and hopefully he might even become the next Intercontinental Champion. But I will talk about the Intercontinental title regarding Elimination Chamber at the end of this, towards the end of this video. And then we move on to John Cena's match with Rusev, the final chapter of this rivalry. It's an I Quit match, US title on the line. Of course, this match was chaos because you had Rusev being brutal, Cena being brutal, and then, of course, it ended with the turnbuckle coming off, Cena using it to do the STF, and then Lana, out of nowhere, basically quits for Rusev, saying, oh, Rusev quits in Russian, obviously giving Cena the win and holding the US title again, another victory over Rusev. So, and funny enough, there's been a lot of rumors concerning Lana that apparently Mr. McMahon is trying to get Lana as one of the divas in WWE, and WWE are considering making Lana the face of the female division of WWE, which is really interesting. I don't know what you guys think. Comment down below if you think Lana should be a future Divas wrestler at some point. What would you think about that? Lana being a wrestler in the WWE? I mean, I would love to see what she's capable of. I think at some point we're going to be seeing a split up between Rusev and Lana, possibly tonight, regarding what happened during the match. The fact that Lana quitted for Rusev, I am guessing Lana's going to be quitting Rusev completely as being his manager, and we'll be seeing Lana becoming maybe a face at some point towards the summer, which sounds really interesting. And then, of course, this leads into the Tamina and Naomi. Yes, Tamina Snuka is back on pay-per-view to take on the Bellas. I believe the Bellas are now the faces, I think they are by now, because as we all know, a lot of people have been booing Naomi and Tamina because Naomi's been taking this heel turn lately, which is a bit surprising. I didn't expect her to take a heel turn after WrestleMania, but I'm guessing now this is the way they're pushing things with Naomi, particularly after what she did to Paige in the UK tour, just before Extreme Rules. And obviously, Naomi and Tamina were able to defeat the Bellas after a brutalizing attack over the Bellas during SmackDown. And then now at Payback, they finally defeat them completely in a tag team match, which was a bit brutal to believe. And then, of course, we also have a one-on-one match involving Bad News Barrett, who's apparently now called King Barrett after Bad News Barrett won King of the Ring. That's right, Bad News Barrett did become this year's King of the Ring on the WWE Network the night after. I think it was the week after Extreme Rules. We had Bad News Barrett being announced as the new King of the Ring after winning the entire tournament. He was taking on Adrian Neville. Obviously, Neville won by countout because of Bad News Barrett, King Barrett. And obviously, this is what led to Neville using his finisher on Bad News Barrett, which was a bit insane. And then, of course, we come to the big main event match. This is the match where you have all three members of the Shield. Of course, the Shield are one of the biggest groups in history. And, of course, this time last year, the Shield had their final ever match against Evolution just before they broke up, which is around the Money in the Bank period. So this is so you could say it's exactly 1 year since the final match of the Shield took place. But out of nowhere, no one didn't. Well, because there's been a lot of rumors speculating, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins possibly reuniting as a group. Who would ever thought we would get to see the Shield in a fatal four-way match? Out of nowhere, all three of them ganging on Randy Orton, putting him through the table, just like they did in the good old days, bringing back some of the memories of the Shield, which is absolutely amazing moment. But obviously it didn't last long because we all know Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose have got memories of Seth Rollins turning their back on them just 1 year ago, leading up to that Money in the Bank pay-per-view when that whole split-up took place the night after Payback last year. And then, of course, it led to Seth Rollins shocking the world by using Triple H's own pedigree in order to retain the championship and to keep Kane's job. And then, of course, this is what led to Kane having to make a decision tonight on Raw about what he's going to do, whether he's going to stick with the Authority or he can do other things, whether he's going to go back to the wrestling side of things or whatever Kane is thinking is obviously down to him now because he's now got his job. He's still got his job. And now the question is he going to stick with Seth Rollins or is it going to lead into a battle between Kane and Seth Rollins come Elimination Chamber time? No. And then, what can I say about Payback? I just think it was a decent pay-per-view. It was a nice pay-per-view, and I really enjoyed some of the highlights, particularly the Shield reunion for a bit. That was a bit of a surprise to me, and it was nice to see, where possibly the Shield could be reuniting, and then also we have this question about where will Seth Rollins go. And speaking of Elimination Chamber, as I said, we have 2 matches already confirmed. We're going to be having an Elimination Chamber match for the very first time for the Intercontinental Championship, where we're going to have but like I said, it'll be nice to see who enters the Elimination Chamber match. We might get some names possibly tonight on Raw who's going to enter the chamber for that title. I haven't really got any ideas, but we know there's going to be 6 people in that match for the vacated title. And also something else that really shocked the world was that we're going to have our first ever tag team Elimination Chamber match. 6 other teams battling for the tag team titles against the New Day. This is huge. I think this is going to be amazing. So, guys, what do you feel about Elimination Chamber? Make sure you stay tuned because we're only 13 days until that big event, and anything can happen in the next few days leading up to this big event, which I believe is next week. So, keep your eyes peeled because we don't really know which teams are going to enter, but I know there's going to be some good teams, hopefully, for the tag team titles, and it should be interesting to see how they're going to roll out this tag team Elimination Chamber match, whether it'll be 2 men in a chamber or just 1 man in a chamber, or how they're going to do it. Should be really interesting. But that's really it, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and we'll see you all when the Elimination Chamber takes place at the end of next week. So see you then.